Boy? I just got a follower. Well, looks like I did. So, thank you. Even though stream hasn't started yet. I'm getting things together. Heck, don't look. Don't look. I was ready. Don't look. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I got it. Hold on. Hold on. Got it. Give me a second. I thought it was ready. Oh, hey. Don't look. This is not going well. Anyway, how does new mic sound? Does new mic sound good? I hope it does. Where is the heckin'? Hello. Hello, Dark. Hello, Ease. How are you today? I'm very tired. I just got back from vacation. It's kind of echoey. Yeah. Look. Is this better? I got up real close to it. How's this? Better or worse? Hold on. I should focus on getting this ready. Give me like... Okay. Okay, I've done it. There. Now we ready. Now we ready. Cool. What's up, gamers? I don't know. I'm still working out how to fix or work the mic in general. But I've got it working-ish, and I think it might sound better than before. I'd hope so. If it's echoey. I've been trying to fix this for like 40 minutes. So I've kind of given up, and I'm just gonna chill with this. If that's all right, of course. Okay. How about this? Better? Yeah. Anyway, Higurashi, am I right, guys? Okay, where were we? Rena standing outside our door. Oh my god! I know why it's echoey. Oh my god. Okay. I fixed it, right? I fixed it, right? That's right? I think I fixed it. I figured out what it was. Cool! Okay, yeah. I had that setting turned on because I wanted to hear how my mic sounded. 7 minutes and I still haven't played the hecky game yet. Anyway, let's jump right into it, guys. Let's jump right into it. Load. Yes. So yeah, Rena was standing outside her door, and it was very creepy, and I did not enjoy that very much. So, you know, Ren is sus. Brenna is imposter. Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how better is this mic than my previous one? Oh wait, let me fix one more thing. Ren vented. She really did. Like, she was out of there. We didn't even see her. Oh heck, hold on. Okay, let me place mic. Okay, now it's secured. So I can chill. 8? Nice! 7, 8, that's not bad at all. Okay, okay. Weirdness and a headache. There we go. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong? Keiichi, you look sad. Keiichi, you don't look so well. Yeah, I just had a monster creeping outside my door all night. You know how it is? You know how it be? Like the, heckin' sleep paralysis demons? When did you go to sleep? It seemed like my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. Felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. Oh, I know how that is, Keiichi. I know how that is. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. You don't want Rena to be your sleep paralysis demon. She creeps me the heck out. I don't think it'd be worth it. Like, at all. Like, she's cool and all, but constantly being paranoid that someone's outside your door. Having friends that heckin' stalk you through the night. I don't think so. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Dude, my man's developing OCD. I'm so sorry. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get at breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. Might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. My, you do seem a little warm. Dude, Rena's presence gave us a cold. Well, that means she's a demon, confirmed. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? Could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. I took some medicine and got a good day of rest. Might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Ding dong. Please don't be Rena. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena. Of course it was. She's like, oh, Keiichi, what's wrong? I know I creeped on you last night, but you're not showing up today. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? No, that's the real question. What am I going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. I don't think, like, the quirkiness of stalking your friends definitely outweighs the cuteness. You know? You don't want to put your thing in crazy, right? Isn't that the saying that people say sometimes? The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. Keiichi, no. Oh. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. You can get... Yeah, okay. Sometimes, on occasion. I'll rest, sorry. Then I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. You wake up, everything is covered in blood around you, your parents are gone, the door's bashed in. And Rena's just standing there like, hey Keiichi, what's going on? I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table I found a lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away? Oh god. What? Likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There's also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although really it was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. Well, if you can walk to the hospital and you're not feeling too bad, then I don't know if it would warrant a hospital visit, but you know, whatever, right? Normally I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Yeah, if Rena spies at you with the binoculars from the school top, you know you're in for some trouble. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. EDA Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There's a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. Oh wow. Yeah, that's important. Spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. "Mayabar-san, please make your way to the examination room." I don't know it yet. I don't think. After properly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. Thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it. Yeah, I don't think these medicines can solve anxiety and paranoia. I don't think so. Like, it is a good effort, Keiichi, but... I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. Bill's the baker and go away? Oh my god, the meme. Oh my god. I love my harem. Pill time. Where's my harem? If it wasn't for that word. Must have been in Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped. With whom? That man from Tokyo who visits every season? The young one with a big camera. Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? Are they talking about Tomitake-san? Who else could they be talking about? I can feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit the job or something. It's an elopement just because they didn't leave a note or a message. The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. Except now, where she probably is. So her name was Takano-san, that woman with Tomitake-san. They have very similar names. And she worked at this clinic? Yashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely. They began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Yashiro-sama's shadow. Of course. Yeah, of course. Yashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I shouldn't be able to escape. Become like your parents and just leave. Like, write a note, and then you're gone. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned it onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in the car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved. Hey, it's the boy! Mayabara-san, good day to see you. It was Oishi-san! Wow! I can see that. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. East! No! Hey, can you Can you maybe listen to the stream while you do that? No, that's okay. It's okay. I understand. I understand. You probably won't miss much. I'll catch you up, alright? What's up today? School on break? Oh, that's him. Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was just about to buy lunch and head back home. That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me. I'm just gonna lie down after going home anyway. And I didn't really have a cold. Wait, what? You didn't really have a cold? You didn't have a... I thought we just secured that you... Oh, it's probably a cold, so I guess that doesn't mean he definitely has one, but... Whatever. I doubt you eat one of these local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, is that alright? I know a pretty good place. I finally began to understand Oishi's roundabout way of saying things. Probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. First time out of town. Went with Oishi-san riding in his frigid car. It's almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. Yeah, I've seen those compilations. Mayabara-san. I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time. Yeah, please talk about that. Hold on. Volume. Okay. Separated from me just by the door. Even now, the brightness of the sunlight, thoughts still creep me out. The big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with sudden realization. That's right. This is where Tomitaka-san died. Oh, right. They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitaka-san. Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believe it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that had to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in comics all the time? Where there's a drug that, if you put it in them, doesn't leave any traces? It exists. Ah, great. Suck! Suckinoko! Suckinoko or something or other. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitaka-san to react like that. Then, you're saying the police concluded Tomitaka-san just died from the curse? Couldn't help to feel that the police were worthless. Yeah, getting that feeling as well. Just wanted the idea of the curse to be dissociated with Tomitaka-san's mysterious death. Fortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people that had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that was unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. Yeah, because at least you know other people were involved, so there are other witnesses. Passed by in front of a rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa, train station. Gotta mention that. I pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It's pretty crowded and there are only adults at this hour. Of course there wouldn't be any children here in the middle of the weekday. Do please, none smoking. This way, please. When you're ready to order, please call me over. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oishi-san in the booth. So what do you think? Aren't the waitress's outfits here cute? Huh? Huh? Oh well, I guess? This shop is always quite busy. More about the waitresses than the food, you see. It's one of those. Uh-huh. Oishi-san, you're leering. Am I really? Ho ho, oh ho ho ho. Oh ho ho ho. Yeah, it's hilarious, Oishi-san. We need to get down to business, Oishi-san. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Oishi-san's afternoon cup of coffee arrived onto the table. Yesterday we talked about Hinumizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that was a village of man-eating demons or something like that. I don't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out a notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinumizawa used to be called Onikakushi, or Ogre's Abyss. Onikakushi? That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. It said that within the depths, that a marsh connected to the realm of demons. Of course, nobody told me about such an ominous marsh. Yeah. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. Guess you could say it was kind of a deification. Village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were sennin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. Taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Healing them, I see. Even if we were calling them demons, Tengu long-nosed goblins or sennin would be more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. They were still man-eating demons, according to the story my grandma told me. As payment for treating the son's illness, let's eat the mother who brought him here. That was apparently how things went. Price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the people who lived in Onikakushi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. Then forced them to do some things that I shouldn't talk about. The entire village, apparently. Quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. Okay, so mother should have sacrificed herself for the whole village. But, you know, you can't fix the past. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Ooh, good job, good job. Huh? There are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Ishi-san laughed heartedly while sipping his coffee. But, well, there are quite a few other tales, where demons from Onikakushi band together to capture their prey. I recall that Mion said the villagers united and fought against the dam construction, while similarities with how that part about the unification overlapped. Normally they hunted down a single person, and they who chose it was going to be beforehand. And they chose who it was going— I see. Huh? That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. What does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. Seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities. In other words, what happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die. And there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. So that group is probably the one that killed Tomitake. Because there are humans acting for these demons. Or the demons are the humans, or whatever. Then Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, Maibara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. Come on. Don't let the boy say it. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around his coffee. So those friends of Satoshi-san, meeting your group of friends, Maibara-san, I had a bit, really just a little bit, okay, of background checking done on them. Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have been furious, since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid. Mayabara-san, if you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. So, the demons are my friends, is what he's going to tell me, right? There are quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. The little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That's all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mio and Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got all worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter, and it was Satoko Hojo-san. Oh. Okay. Satoko meaning Satoko? Oishi-san told me that my voice was too loud. Realized that as well and quickly quieted down. Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Ah, it's all connected. Okay. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the fourth year. You know already, don't you? He was a step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, as she had lost both her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house. Till my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I thought it was nothing but a bizarre accident, one I could have easily distanced myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared the fourth year, by the way, he was Satoko-san's older brother. Wait just a second. Took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped on a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Mayabara. Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. Lots of things I shouldn't have heard. What could be worse than all that? All the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That has to be just a coincidence. Okay, very doubtful. I mean, the first one is already pretty sus, but the last three, all together, is just way too much of a coincidence. Because, the first one has an actual motive, while the last three don't really have that much of a motive for the girls anyway. But, you know. Mayabara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking. Mion, Satoko, Rika-chan. Sort of they're connected. You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Ren is different, isn't she? Ren isn't connected with the victims at all. Ren Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. He's saying she's also connected? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. Seems she went to her school building and broke all the windows. Renan did that? She broke all the windows at her school? That same silly Rena had? I couldn't even imagine it. Seemed that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. Medication, not meditation. Dysautonomia is where you can't control your body movements, I'm pretty sure. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I've heard that happens to people who are really methodical or really sensitive. Yep, makes sense. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality. In a counselor's medical record, he recorded all the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit after that. What did? You know what, Keiichi. You don't even have to say. Pressed forward carelessly. Couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. But how? Felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why had Rena spoken of Yashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa? Seems like Yashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night. Jeez! That's her paralysis demon. Standing over a pillow looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. Wait. So if she could act like Oyashiro-sama and spook Keiichi by following him around and looking after him, like Oyashiro-sama did to her? Maybe? Just spouting theories. After a while, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Ah. According to the residency register, the Ryuga family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rena moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears became ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Mayabara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? His words brought me back. Couldn't let it end here. I need to know everything! Now I understand, Rena. Then how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who's he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. Huh? Have you forgotten, Mayabara-san? Didn't you spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. But now, like, Keiichi's mingling with them. You know, he's involved. Fell silent as my brain turned to mush. But he is an outsider, so... Unless he was, like, born here and then moved out and adopted or something. We should get going. Mayabara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I'd completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten until Oishi-san said that. Got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. Dude, take your normal pills. That's what they gave Keiichi. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. Never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It's almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. The big jolt was a difference in elevation of the road when it changed cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream, haunting you from the grave. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really, just blurted it out. Didn't expect an answer. Did check with you first, didn't I? We should just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing, and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that it looked suspicious to Oishi-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. Plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. Wait, his grandma? How old is she? Cause like he's graying, you know? So she must have to be really old. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them? Oishi-san didn't really give a response. Felt a little late, but I thought that was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Mayabara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? Wanted to reply with, that was absurd! But in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure? From what? What do you mean, from what? To not have other people die. Oh heck, my freaking pop-ups. Okay. Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine? Yeah, no more talking about it. Sometime the car finally reached a path to my house. Clock read 2 p.m. Surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Yashido's curse. Sama's freaking. I'll end the curse this year. You're saying I should contact you if anything happens? Of course, like always. It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Mayabara-san. I wasn't collected enough to understand Aisha's-san's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. Yeah, dude, Higurashi is getting so much content recently because of the, not reboot, but sequel. Man, it's great though. It's great. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now. Goodbye, Yoshi-san. Let's hope you don't die and we see you again later. Tires crunched over the dirt road of the car, as the car made a U-turn, disappeared into a cloud of kick-up dust. I felt I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. Oh. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That was the first time I thought Oichi-san was being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim and just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. That was just a bait dangling off the line. Well, what else are you supposed to do when there's no evidence? No solid evidence. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Was it really just a Yashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it. I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Sometimes, all you can do is nothing. Keiichi. Keiichi. K1. I like that nickname for Keiichi. K1. I've been mingling in the fandom a bit, and they call him K1. I wonder how much time has passed since I laid down. It's getting dark outside. Body was soaked in sweat. Probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It's probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I didn't notice. Yeah, 'cause you were asleep and dead inside. Hello, this is the Mayabara residence. Oh, he's alive! Hello! This is Mion. Oh! How are you doing? Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi's resting now, but should I put him on? Is he? Huh? Oh, I see. Oh my god. Is this his dad? I'm so sorry. Boah, haha. Good job, Keiichi. I love your jokes. Idiot. Baka. You fell for it. Huh? Keiichi! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Yeah, over this beautiful music. Is everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Ren was really worried, you know. Setsuko-chan was happy and said that you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said, how unfortunate that he's sick. Looks like everyone's making a big deal out of it. Well, you know. So, Kei-chan, it's now a bad time to come pay you a visit. A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. Yet. My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some. Hey now, you'll catch my cold. Not to worry. Both Ren and I are too stupid to catch cold. See you. I don't think that's how it works. Be there in a bit. Ching up cheerfully. Ren is coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion... Yeah, hopefully Rena doesn't mention anything about watching you sleep. Or, you know, eavesdropping on your calls in your own house. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. That's nice. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? I did just that. Thank goodness you look well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering. Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. Didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. Is it? I'm not ready. I don't think I remember what happens here, but... Thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say! See, my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are mochi Mi-san's grandma made. Mi-chan, not Mi-san. Ren held out a package wrapped in newspaper. Might be about 5 in here. It's quite hefty. Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion. Yep. Oh, there's one I made in there as well. I wonder if Keiichi can guess which one. This is Kei-chan's homework since you missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each of the mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. Were you checking out if I was feeling better, or did you come here for club activities? Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow. Man, what are you gonna do if my finger comes back because of your shenanigans? Welcome back, East! The only thing you missed is that all of them are connected to the murders in some way. Wow! So yeah, that's fun, isn't it? Yeah, but other than that, nothing else. Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. How surprising and unexpected. No, you're completely right. You're completely right. The other people here would get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. Because of the entranceway was a mess. You're right, let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? Huh? What did you eat for lunch? Oh! Mion, your eyes are looking a bit dead there. Sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. Yeah, I know, dude. I'd never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? She said it was so inane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it is almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate. I ate out? She must have suspected I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, felt if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. That is the correct decision to make, I think. Except, contrary to the efforts I made, there was a pause before they replied. Oh, great, Ren and 2 now. So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun. The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me. Well, was it good? Why are you asking me this? Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone. Almost as if she knew that I had eaten in the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There's no way they could have known where I was. Seems like you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? Flop? Who's flopping? The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. Oh. I could tell the blood drain from my face, making me go pale. Oh, Keiichi-kun, who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder? I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. But how do you know that? Like everything, I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Jesus Christ. Okay, now that this old man phrase, is she actually a demon in disguise? Because, I could believe that. Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? Seems like you- oh wait, no, that's Mion. Seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too. That might explain the gun. Yeah, she has the soul of an old man. That makes a lot of sense now. We weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena. Are you sure about that? Oh, God. Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about it? Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. Look, Keiichi, they're in your house, okay? You have every right to, like, take Mion's gun and give him a little pop, you know? My heart was throbbing so much, it felt like it was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that. Couldn't even shake my head. Just give him a little shove and slam the door. Took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even though she tilted her head slightly. Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down. That's true. We both should head back home. Okay, bye. Bye, I guess. As if nothing happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I dropped the package of mochi. They left, the door closed slowly behind them. There's a reason why those eyes appear when things get weird. I don't know. Is it because they're acting sus? Whenever you act sus, that's when their eyes come out. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door I was about to close, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through the narrow slit. Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan. Yeah. I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow, alright? Thud. The door closed. Wasn't able to move a muscle even after the low laughter died off into the distance and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. Yeah. Also, this is a regular door, not one of those Japanese sliding doors, which is a little sus, I guess. They knew what Oishi-san and I had talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing, and they were warning me that it was unnecessary. What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Yashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole. It was the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hiding within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that I let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me up from this nightmare, but for some reason, it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down. Settle down, sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous when I met Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change of character from the usual mild-mannered Rena. I was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. The amount of mental gymnastics that he's trying to go through here, like, to make it seem not suspicious. I felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Dude, that sounds like really good right now. Spaghetti? Heckin' love spaghetti. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. Meanwhile, I'm very hungry. I really didn't want that to happen, so I gotta stop holding my mom's spaghetti. Yeah, exactly. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. I didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think they're a bunch of good people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of anything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as this strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was pretty cute. No, even when she's in the so cute mode, it's cute. But yeah, they become sus if you question anything about the village, so Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender, and was the optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, Rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Yes, because she had a harsh childhood. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san and Tomitaki-san, when I was told about Yashiryu-sama's curse, things started going crazy. And hearing from Oishi-san that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious, after that, everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At the time, I really should have not listened to those weird stories. I even shouldn't have heard about the past incidents from Tomitaki-san on the night of Onikakushi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't. That's alright. So that's why they... okay, murdered, killed, or you know what else. Yeah, Tomitaki-san. Impudent outsiders speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They're probably... oh my god. It doesn't help that kill and fuck have the same amount of letters. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was made unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course, a guy like that was going to be killed. I've seen them do this in other games as well. Like, I don't know if you played Nier Automata, but they did a similar thing where they censored kill for some jank reason. It's supposed to be like suspicious or something. I don't know. You know? Both Tomitaki and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Yashiro-sama's curse and just die! Not like I don't know what's there. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back such curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. Don't blame yourself, Keiichi. You're just a boy. Okay? I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I'd just gotten up. The ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I don't think you are. I was no longer frightened. I think you're lying to yourself. I'd completely okay, yeah. Yeah, it's probably a spoiler, but, when 9S was all like, no, Adam or someone told 9S, you really want to blank 2B, don't you? And it was the 4, you know, uncensored, so it's like kill, or who knows? I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them, after all. Ah, that reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I'm able to tell which one Rena made. Remember the homework those two brought with them when they visited me. But wow. Our club did delivery. That was something else. Did deliver or deliver E? I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed to the living room. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think here as well. They're using the same story thing. It's for style points. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh. This was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written left to right on the newspaper, A, B, C, D, and E. Now then, they said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. Smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably in their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. Well, that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one was Rena's. I calmed down and think even harder. Mion said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remember correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. And what about Rena? She probably only made one. Probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning, the one Rena had made was this one, E. For a moment, I thought it might have been trapped Mion laid. She knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. Wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, probably wasn't a trap. Alright, my tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, 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 yum. Not bad. Smooth bean paste, soft chewy texture left little to be desired. Tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? Creation was so delicate one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion, but, well, first, a bite. It's quite the difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were especially the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end. It was to be expected. So deciding factors would be presentation and volume. The well-deformed, well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger. With a size you just couldn't get enough of. I had only one bite of Rena's. I'd probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset? Choo-choo. Nom 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 nom. My prediction was right. The tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. Slammed against the wall, causing the bee jam to splatter. And after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Ren had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. First I thought it was hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair is still quite long. And it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There's a bit of metallic sheen on one end, and yes, there's a hole where a thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did just look like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? Tasty needle. Needle's my favorite. But a voice inside me already knew. And let me know by chattering my molars together. Couldn't starve off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly I tasted something metallic and felt prickling pain at the back of my throat. Oh no, he actually got cut by it. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. A sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my throat, and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back with nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then, it finally registered. Exactly what was within the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat! Splart! Tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. Geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out to the hall, flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under the covers until morning. Ah, paranoia, man. This is when paranoia becomes reality. Honestly, of the whole COVID situation, freaking problem, that's where people's paranoias and anxieties actually came to fruition. And I feel like this would be a similar kind of experience, but it would only be for yourself. So, you'd be, divulging in a bit of psychosis here. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. There wasn't a threat or warning or reminder, nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What was happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Ren and Mio and others, they consider me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as if I was crushed by my negative emotions. As if I was being drawn into a billowing bottomless marsh. God, whenever I play this, I never want to play anything else. I just want to, do this entire thing. But I know I can't. I know I have other series to do. New tips! What's a medicine that makes you commit suicide? And threat. Wow, those are my favorite. Hard to swallow. Save. 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 Close. Tips? Oh. Oh, so, okay. Oh! We have all the tips! Oh my god. Oh my god, we did it. We have all the tips. Now what? Game over? We win? No. Now that we have all of the evidence, now we actually have to solve the mystery with our tips, right? Right? Cool. Tap. Tap, tap, tap. Sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. I know what this means. Rena, get out of my room. Rena, get out of my house, Rena, please. A moment of silence, as if whoever they belonged to was asserting if I was inside. Ascertaining. All the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. And with danger bearing down on me just from beyond the door. It was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Sleep paralysis? Saber father. Thank you. It's always nice to see your presence. Also, hopefully you noticed my new mic. Woo. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came into my room right now, then... What? What was that? What? Wah! Eek? Sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Oh. Keiichi? What's the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. Thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m., but the morning sun had already been streaming through the gap between curtains. Felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. I didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up, and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me I was still not well. Well, Keiichi, how are you feeling? Can you make it to school? How about no? I was well enough to go, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? What if I had pierced my tongue? It was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. They really wanted to kill me, and there were other more certain ways to do it. Yeah, exactly, they didn't want to kill him. I think they just wanted to frighten him or maim him in some way. And, you know, I'm sending a message, you know? They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method of trying to have me swallow a needle. Meaning, I don't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Ren and Mion. Aren't you glad I didn't die? Next time, we'll use a more assured method. Aren't you glad you didn't die? Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside. That would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kinda. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. I seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. Haha. As all parents are. Worried more about school, huh? It's definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. No! Why would you be so mean to him? I think Keiichi will have happiness one day. One day. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get up. Say wellness is a state of mind. Oh, shut up. Oh, that's such a lie. I'd heard that line many times before. Yeah, true. Yeah. I'd heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Ren-chan comes and gets you. Please don't say that last line. Oh my god. Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Yeah, I don't think you would. Also, my mom didn't question me further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. Mion said after she left yesterday, I'd hate if you missed school tomorrow. Came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying, don't be absent. Thinking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I shouldn't go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. Yeah, I would take that as a sign and just completely revolt, hide in my little house under my covers for the rest of eternity until they do whatever they're doing, you know? For example, maybe I shouldn't pay attention to someone like Oishi-san enticing me with something unusual. Meaning if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything different from the norm, in effect, it would end up me flagging myself as someone who is not wanted. And it seemed that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Is that how it was going to be? Dude, that's not gaslighting, but that's pretty toxic. All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these past few days, I'd be able to keep living on like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could... I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. Okay, stop hecking lying to yourself, Keiichi. I am this close to, like, killing you myself. Okay? Or become an adoptive parent. I take Keiichi away somewhere else, you know? Possibly, to a state called Texas in America. I'm pretty sure he would love it there. He'd love it. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. What was what I did really something so unforgivable? Mion had given me another chance. She was saying, if I just forgot about everything, kept on living like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Keiichi, your food is going to get cold. Leave me alone, mother. Leave me alone to wallow. Get down here. Rena will be here if you don't hurry. I'm coming. Crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. Dude, just skip anyway. Just go outside, loop around, jump through your window. You know how it'd be. Picked up my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed like I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Given yesterday's events, she'd probably be here within the next 5 minutes. Needed to be ready to head to school by then. I'd forget everything that had happened in the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For all this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. Ding dong! Jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. That chime tingled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry. My mother's merry smile and gloomy face were polar opposites. She gloomy face? What's going on? Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting on the other side of the door. Rena on the other side. Was it the Rena I knew? Or the imposter! Couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. Meanwhile, you're just like scared to death on the inside. Morning? An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway. I came since Keiichi was a bit late. Will he be okay, I wonder? The manner in which Rena was concerned was without a doubt the Rena I knew. It was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday. Pretend as nothing had happened. Or just act how you want in front of your mom. And then both of you evacuate immediately. Like, you can still save everyone. Well, not everyone, but... Forget about the gruesome mismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death and the terminal illness and suicide and the lynching and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Ren and Mion were scary, of course. Forget it all. Forget about everyone. Forget about the mochi, too. Forget. Rena once again asked to make sure. Can you make it to school? Yeah, I'm fine. Great! Let's go, Mi-chan is waiting. Rena showed me her usual bright smile. Couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. Because that's what they do. They get so good at their lies and tricks that they just are heckin' my speaking. You know what I mean. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. But you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it. As we were walking, Ren talked about a lot of different stuff, more than usual. Then? Oh, you sound so interested, Keiichi. Satoko-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. Oh, she was so cute. Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense, so I replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation, and also a boring one at that. It's more interesting to talk about heckin' murder, huh? Passed by one of our neighbors as they called out to us. Oh my, Keiichi-chan and Ren-chan, aren't you two a bit late today? Mion-chan said she was going on ahead. Oh, did Mi-chan look mad, I wonder? We need to hurry up. We need to hurry up! As we smiled and parted ways with our neighbor, he turned back towards me and stuck out a tongue. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack out a smile. Keiichi couldn't smile. Well, what? Rena stopped and stared at me. I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold, since you seemed a bit down this morning, Keiichi-kun, but now you seem fine. With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maebara, I can still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that. Because, she's a murderous, lying, POS? Possibly. We still don't know for sure, I guess. Maybe I just had a high fever until today and imagined everything that I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious. Really hope that was the case. God would grant me one wish. There's only one thing I'd wish for. I want what happened in the past few days. More specifically, from the night of Onikakushi up until tonight. I wanted all of that to never happen. I wonder how many times I'd wished for these in the past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it just might become reality. So I wanted Rena to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. So, Keiichi-kun. Oh, please don't. Please don't. Oh, God. Oh, Rena! Oh, God.
That was mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all?
That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Of course, she wasn't asking a question at face value. In other words, Ren was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that.
Keiichi-kun?
I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Mayaba. The more you hesitate, the more sus you become. Rena was acting the same as always, wasn't she? Needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. Both my throat and mouth had gone dry and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time has passed. I could still keep the conversation going. The more you think about it, the worse it'll get. I had to say something quickly. Did? Oh my god. Rena playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Rena's reaction was still normal. It was like there wasn't as long as a pause as I thought. Somehow, I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious! Ha 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 ha. Or, oishi. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Puns. However, I strained my efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment, I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well. I see. Oh my god, Rena, shut up. Please stop. We don't need to talk about it. I know what you did. You need to stop asking.
I see. So did you all eat all of them, I wonder?
A timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Oh my god. Was that what she was asking? No, I just have a gut of steel. My stomach breaks down metals of all kinds. If I'd swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. Scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it. Okay, so he hadn't eaten it yet. I get it. Okay, so he's playing it like he hadn't eaten the needle yet.
Huh? What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Rena made?
That homework, was it due today?
Yeah, it's due today. Mi-chan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you.
Oh, great. That's probably gonna even be worse. Years of eating crayons. Oh, yes, of course. Keiichi would be the type. No, he wouldn't. He'd be the type to be force-fed crayons. We both laughed at each other again. To the casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could let myself believe, then even I'd think it was just a morning usual routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There's something unimaginable buried beneath this facade of giggling Rena. Lies. I recalled that unexpected piercing voice I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only at the particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. It was still Rena. Oishi-san told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. Seems like she went through her school building and broke all the windows. Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then she'd break a pane or two. She broke all of the windows, all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school breaking the windows with a bat. Oh, that gave me chills. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Oh, Jesus. They're really going into this. Oh my god. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with Rena smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. That unpleasant, piercing sound of shattered glass. The crunching noise as Rena treads across the broken shards, walking towards me. Dude, Rena is anything other than cinnamon roll, okay? Like, she is cinnamon roll, but with an S, if you know what I mean. Rena's classmates going pale as they forget to even breathe. I wonder what they did as Rena came closer, breaking the windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Did they run to the staff room after being directed there by the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Rena bursting window after window, undoubtedly, all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing a path for Rena to continue. It was far too violent an act for them to seek refuge by looking the other way. There's not to say that they were looking the other way. They were doing the only thing they could do to protect themselves. Exactly. If they had done something differently from the rest, they might have suddenly found themselves Rena's new target. And this is why, if you do nothing, it's not compliance. You know? Or is it? Maybe I don't know the correct definition of that word, but what would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning I would, be the next window. Rena, staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. God. This really is just a book, isn't it? Okay, Rena, can you stop? Rena? Rena, stop? Can you stop looking at me? Please, stop? Then Rena struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. Crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hits me again and again. Jesus. Okay? God, I didn't know I have to keep clicking through these. What kind of expression was she making when she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent. It was completely unnerving. Because no matter how many times she struck me, it didn't make a pleasant sound as the other windows. Oh, God. Keiichi is not a window! I hate it. It's not even the best noise, but... Okay, you done? Rena? Are you good? This isn't even a horny bonking. It's not even a horny bonking. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Rena wanted didn't come out. Her classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. I didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out. But of course, everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. It gained nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there'd be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut. Some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi-san told me. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up quite a bit after that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, As Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow looking down at her. That was the only piece of their conversation, so I couldn't see the big picture. It was no means a happy little conversation. Then what Rena did, saying that ghastly incident was the result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama. Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Oishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths was the work of men and not some curse. Except if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. And if I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe those who had acted in kindness to me were deeply involved with the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Rena? Was everybody? I was looking into the meaning of tips, and as the wiki puts it, they give player information that may or may not be useful to the player in solving the mystery. May or may not. Cool. It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting it was just Oyashiro's curse. Hey, you didn't even add the Sama, okay? That's it. That's what's gonna do it. In the aftermath, Rena admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. That's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama is the one to blame. I knew that it was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Yashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which is a better choice, accepting that Yashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Ren and the rest of them are deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths. He's very self-aware, for the most part, which I really appreciate. I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that, but that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning of to my own convenience, regardless of my opponent being a human or a curse. I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all. God.
Keiichi-kun, you've been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder?
Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I'd realized it, we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exorcised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you look at it, there was no way Rena could have done such terrible things. It's like I was trying to placate myself. You never know what's going on inside someone's head. I slid the door open. A blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped in the classroom. Not the time, Satoko. Not the time. Chalk dust went in my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. I'm feeling for the chant, Keiichi-san. Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Rena. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan.
Not quite in the mood for it. I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. Seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently.
What is this? How discouraging indeed. Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah, take it easy on for today, Kei?
Suddenly there was a slap on my shoulder. It hurt a bit. Mion. Hey, Kei-chan, did you get enough rest? It was Mion. My mind full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember Keiichi, that hawkish gaze from her yesterday? Yeah, morning. What's with that energetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you? Because I ate them, I'm like this. Yeah. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really didn't have the time to have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over. Huh? What about the homework? Did you have an answer of which one is Rena's?
Can't believe you'd forget your homework, Keiichi-kun.
Sheesh, then we can't help it. Time for your penalty. Flashing a lurid smile, Miona retreated to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maibara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. Jeez. Yeah, I don't think this day is going to be as dull and ordinary as the rest. But of course, I could be wrong. Oh, I hope Keiichi lives. I hope Keiichi lives. I hope we make good decisions. I don't even know if we can make decisions in this one, because this might be like an introduction chapter where we don't make any decisions, but I don't know. This free study period was convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forgive was how dangerous of a situation I was in. Fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oishi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. His warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No, calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. There aren't any decisions? I thought there was. Cause, what's it? I can't remember which chapter it is, but in the anime, if you, like, decide who to give the doll to, it alters, like, the ending. That's what I heard anyway. So who the heck lied to me? Probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Probably had a method of completely erasing me. They were just biding their time. You know, they were just keeping me under their thumb with threats. It didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation on my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using this seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn. I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. But were they really trying to kill me? I had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. All their suspicious behavior, a warning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, it's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends, covering for them, my life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Ren and the rest of them, were they really actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Maibara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe the sewing needle might have been just an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of doubt can only go so far. Both Ren and Mion had acted suspicious and behaved suspiciously. But maybe it was some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? Ren just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had for lunch. Ren was standing outside the door eavesdropping for a good hour, you know? He's like talking to himself. He's trying to smack some sense into himself. And if you haven't done this in your life yet, your time will soon come. She was probably waiting for my phone call to end for a whole hour outside your room. And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? Yeah. You heard from Oishi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her former school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro-sama's fault. She... Cut it out, Keiichi Maibara. Don't you realize they're out to kill you? It's probably Mion's. I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded a few moments. Oh. Afterwards, I looked around to check if anyone else had heard it. Dude, if Mion or Rena heard that, you're done. You're dead. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Yeah. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from running into the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. It's late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that, but I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. I think I could suddenly believe that my friends who had been happily laughing together with me until last Sunday, now intend to kill me, right? You're too soft, Keiichi. This time I remember to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. Yeah, he's actually talking to himself out loud now. There's one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Ren and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me. I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. Friends were putting their tests together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I probably would have happily jumped into that circle. But now, things are different.
My, Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving.
This way Satoko spoke was so typical familiar, and almost physically hurt.
Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day? I wonder. We were going to win big together. Oh.
Seeing Rena's expression, which she said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey Keiichi, maybe Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me. Oh, dude. Slap. Trying to expunge a weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Yeah, no excuses, okay? Be strong. Protect yourself. When you detect something off, believe in yourself.
Keiichi-kun?
Yeah, was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it was actually one or not, I just wanted someone to say it was. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive?
Are you alright? Does your head hurt?
Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena. Yeah, he's going through so much right now. And they're just vibing, doing their thing. Probably talking about him behind his back, honestly.
You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself?
Yes, do not touch me, please.
Maybe I should accompany you home, I wonder?
No, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home by myself. Just have the meeting without me. On hearing I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Of course. Just deal with it, Mion, okay? I'm going through some jank things right now, okay? Since Kei-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were going to play the deduction game from before too. You can't even coax me with Clue this time, okay? Clue does not do it when I'm in a life or death situation, alright? I don't love Clue that much.
Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch. How pathetic.
Wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Exactly. Good job, Keiichi. Not even a real retort. I grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head. Rika.
Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate.
It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Well, out of all of them, Rika's the only one that... Wait, no, she's connected to. Heck. Yeah, never mind. Forget what I said. Sorry, everybody. See you. That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. He said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance and that saved mine. Got my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi Maibara. Become a torturous villain. Become a heckin' criminal. Harden that heart. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them, because they weren't they my friends? Part of me laminated with naivete, while the other part of me laminated the fact that I had lost something important by laminating over it in the first place. It felt like my consciousness was being ripped out of my body. This was what Oishi-san Oyoshiro-sama's curse was like. It was just too harsh. Hey, Yoshiro-sama. I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believe in it now. Completely. Your curse does exist. So seriously, give me a break. I beg you, come on. Yeah, I don't think it takes no for an answer. Once you've wronged him once, that's it. You're done. Never see the light of day again. Laminating? Lamenting? Was it lamenting? It was lamenting. Laminating. Dude, you should know by now I can't hecking read. I'm illiterate. Didn't you know? Oh my god. Ease to shut up. Dinner was unusually bland. Had no flavor or aroma. Miso soup that had normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. So my dad was at the dinner table. Either meant he had just reached a good point to take a break or he was in a slump. So yeah, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? Oh, they're talking. It's hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's just an industry with a lot of back scratching, and it gets in the way of business. I wasn't able to pick out much of mom and dad's conversation. I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought processes I had going on all day long. Friends close to me, no, they used to be friends. I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted, people I could depend on. Push came to shove, there was something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the current hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks, looked over at my parents who were still talking about work. First course of action that came to mind was tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person in Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. But the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up until now, would they understand? Rena, for example? That neighborly Rena was so diligent in looking after me. Came to get me every day, and sometimes brought me over a share of what she made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? Oh yeah, he definitely presented himself as insane at that point. But considering Keiichi is a minor, wouldn't the detective have to give the parents permission to ask him questions? No, I don't think that's right. No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad probably wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom probably dragged me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Well, maybe that's better than existing in, like, perpetual paranoia, you know? Even if they did come to understand, what would they possibly do? If they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No, by informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. Oh, yeah, that would suck. The entire Mayabara family to have an accident or just vanish into thin air. It was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was knowing that something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was the only way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. As long as my parents were here, this house would be a safe haven for them. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe, it was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. The only person who could be my ally would be Oishi-san, him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. I didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It's a bit frustrating. Oishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It's just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull the big haul. It was slightly infuriating. Even I thought it was the best course of action. Then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. To keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before it being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge it just enough to tag out to Oishi-san. No question it was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa. So if I phoned him at any moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. But I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I just have to hide out there until Oishi-san arrived. Okay, I can almost see it now. I'm still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring, but yeah. Probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things get rough. Ooh? Typically that would call for a switchblade, but that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. Remember, there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretend I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to always carry it around. I'd go to school early morning and secure it. Just possessing a weapon might be enough to deter them. So, one more thing. Insurance. It'd be something like a note or memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanished, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san would be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in a conversation about work and went back to my room. Dude, this whole thing is just like his stream of consciousness as he tries to comprehend the situation that he's in. Oh, God. I feel like anyone would do the same in his situation, though. It's horrible to be in such a situation of such, intense paranoia. I tore out a piece of paper from my notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. On the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. I should only write down the facts. Should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in this type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Ren and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. That's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wearily at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get that hint from reading this enigmatic message? I only pray that they would. What I prayed for most, though, that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. One thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Is that too much? Probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, it would seem like I was just delusional. Okay. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was sound in mind, I chose not to write anything else at that point. Just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was too obscure of a location, there was a risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick a folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back into its normal position. Yeah, it didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I needed to set up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and made my way downstairs. Jeez, dude, he's really thinking this through. Parents are still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I'd never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask of you. Please listen. Just in case? Yeah? It's not urgent. Can we please do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they're discussing about. Wow. I didn't think their talk was much more urgent than mine. In any case, I started my request. Just in case, okay? If I die. Both my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. Yeah, dude. Any child saying, if I die, is gonna be intense. If I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. Couldn't blame them. Made that clock in shop class, and I really liked it. So please. What kind of an excuse is that? Oh my god. What's the matter, Keiichi? Did something happen? I was finally able to ask me without questioning gaze. Of course, this is a normal response for when someone's son started talking about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted to think about the clock in my room. The awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night. And only that, I left the living room. Not awkward. Not awkward. It's intense. You know, solemn. I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure the bat. Should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. I climbed the stairs. I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. No, dude, you gotta get into the head of Keiichi, okay? It wasn't awkward. It wasn't awkward. It was, like, fueled by a sense of, like, I'm going to do something very good and important. And people need to know this, you know? It was not awkward. The fight that had just begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. Oh, man. He has a plan. Secure the bat. And wait, I guess. Wait for them to, do what they need to. Not feeling so hot. Oh, new tips? I thought we already got all the tips. Chasing shadows. Save. Close. Tips. I thought those were all of them. Well, I guess there's more. Not feeling so hot. Threat. Oh, wow. I think we're gonna leave it there today. I don't know how many chapters there are, honestly. In total, maybe 12? I think we're nearing the end of it anyway. But, this is like a novel. It really is. Which, you know, makes me want it to become a novel. A light novel. Maybe it is. I know it's a manga, but yeah. So, thank you for being here and witnessing my new mic. Yeah, so, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys sometime. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. 12, I think, but 12 is pretty long. Oh, okay. Yeah, understood, considering 12 is like the thing where everything happens. Yeah. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.